A virus cannot keep this country down. A virus can't keep this community down. A virus cannot keep good people down. We're going to find a way through this like we do every other tragedy that actually hits us.
So we all know that the coronavirus pandemic is changing our lives in really tremendous ways right now. And one of the ways it's changing our lives is on the community level, the way that we interact with one another through social institutions, through our churches, through our community groups. One community that we've paid a lot of attention to at Detroit Public Television recently is Island View in the city of Detroit near Belle Isle. And in particular, we've been interested in the work of Pastor Barry Randolph at the Church of the Messiah. Pastor Randolph joins us now to talk about how this looks in his community. Pastor Barry, welcome.
Thank you, Stephen. I'm glad to be here, even if it's not in person.
So let's start with you just giving us a window onto that community and how it's reacting to all of these changes that we now have to indulge because there is this virulent pandemic sweeping through not just the city, but also the nation and the world.
Well, Island View, like every other community, I'm quite sure, is a little bit on the edge because nobody has ever dealt with anything like this. This is totally new to the entire planet, not just our community. But one of the blessings is Island View is a very strong, close-knit community. And so the people here are doing a pretty good job of looking out for one another. Parents, of course, looking out for the children, the community looking out for our seniors. I think because we are already a close-knit, strong community, we're doing a pretty good job of looking out for each other, even though part of that is not as physical as we'd like it to be.
This is all affecting us quite personally at this point. I think almost everybody knows someone who may be sick from coronavirus. Lots of us are losing people that we know. The first person that I know died of this virus this week. You're a pastor, and a lot of your work is about ministering to individuals, ministering to the sick. Give us an idea of what that has looked like for you in the past few days.
Well, that is difficult. I've spent 20 years telling people to come to church. Now I'm telling you not to come. But the truth is we are the church is the people and not the building. And so it's about looking out for the people and making sure that they have everything it is that they need. It is difficult to be a pastor and to have to call people and do the virtual meetings instead of actually seeing them physically. That's kind of hard, but it is part of keeping in touch. And thank God for technology because we have a way to be able to be in contact. And I can tell you this much, especially having things like Zoom and things like that, where we can actually see each other and we can actually see how each other is doing as well as talking to people over the phone. So it's been difficult, it's been hard, but thank God we can still do it this way.
A lot of your work at Church of the Messiah also has to do with economic opportunity, making sure people have the training that they need for jobs, making sure people have jobs, and also making sure that people have the opportunity to start their own businesses. The number of businesses that are associated with Church of the Messiah is really impressive. Of course, all that is kind of grinding to a halt right now. Give us an idea of the effect that that's having on your work.
Well, that's kind of hard because I can tell you this much. This place is always bustling. It's always bustling. And there's dozens of people here at one time, people coming in and out. And I can tell you this much. I really do miss that. But at the same time, we want to make sure that everybody remains safe. And we know this too will pass, that for this setback that we have in terms of building the economic empire that God has called us to build, to bring people out of poverty, to give them a source of income so that they can take care of themselves. Right now, we're concentrating on making sure they are well and making sure they're healthy and making sure they're alive because we don't want to tempt fate. and we don't want to see people ill. So for right now, it's best to shut down and allow people to make sure that they're safe and their families are safe. We'll get back to the economics. This too will pass. We'll come out stronger and better than we were before this happened, I'm sure.
Yeah. Do you worry about long-term damage to some of the businesses that you've helped start there if this goes on too long?
Actually, no. I am really more concerned with people's well-being. And I know that your sense of finances and everything else that also affects your health. But let's face it, to take a chance and then become ill or die is not worth it, because you can't do any economic development if you're dead. Or if you're sick, you're not concerned with that. For the most part, let's get past this pandemic and then come back on the other side and work towards that. And who knows, one of the things we may be working with our doctors is coming up with a laboratory to come up with a cure for the coronavirus. Who knows? We the people of God, we might just do that too.
Right.
You never know.
I wonder also if you can talk about the children there in Island View. You have a lot of kids around the Church of the Messiah all the time, and this looks different for them. They don't understand a lot of what's happening. Their lives have changed too, in terms of not going to school, and not being able to play with their friends. Give us a sense of how young people are taking this.
Well, for the most part, the younger children are resilient. As a matter of fact, they're part of the passion that drives me. So one of the things is the children are full of questions, and they call every day and they show the videos. They're finding ways to be able to turn this into some type of experiment. The thing I'm trying to tell the parents is enjoy this time, because many of our people in the community and neighborhood have to work so hard to be able to take care of their families. They don't spend a lot of time with them. So I'm telling the parents, enjoy this time, because when things go back to normal, you're going to say the same things you said before. Oh, I wish I had more time to spend with the kids, and I'm missing out on this, that, and the other. Now you have the time to do that. Enjoy it. Don't complain about it. Actually enjoy it, because this too will pass, and you will have to go back to that. And for the most part too, sometimes it's good for the parents and the kids to get to spend time together like this. So it's a unique opportunity to have conversation, discussions, and create those type of family values we always talk about. So
right.
Let's try to create them while we got the opportunity.
Right. That's right. Now let's practice some of those values. Right?
Yes.
I also wonder, we're coming up on Easter, which is, of course, the biggest holiday in the Christian faith.
Yes.
That's going to look different this year, I think, no matter what we experience over the next few weeks. It just seems impossible that we go back to what we would normally experience. Give me an idea of what you're thinking about for your congregation on this most important holiday. What will it look like for them this year?
Well, I can tell you this much. Depending on how things go, there's going to be a resurrection anyway. So nothing is going to stop people from celebrating. That's going to happen anyway. It'll probably be done in smaller groups in people's homes, and folks will find ways of being able to do that. But when this pandemic is over and we're kind of out of this isolation and self-containment, there's going to be a resurrection like you've never seen before, because people are going to come out. It's going to kind of be like, we always say in the wintertime, you have cabin fever, and once the weather starts getting warm and everybody comes out and doing that first little warm stretch of weather, I can tell you this much, especially living in Island View, being close to Belle Isle, people start to celebrate and go to the island, and there's people everywhere, and the streets are somewhat trashed because people are actually getting out, and you go, wow, this was worth it though. Right. It was wonderful seeing everybody. There's going to be a resurrection. So Easter is going to take place in a different form in the city of Detroit, and probably all over the country and all over the world, because people are going to be resurrected with a new mindset to appreciate the things that we've taken for granted. Community, each other, our livelihoods, our communities, things that we've kind of taken for granted. we're going to come out on with a different mindset on the other side of this. So there is going to be a resurrection. We may not call it Easter, but that's what it's going to be. So God be praised anyway.
Yeah. A really different kind of resurrection maybe than any other year, right? Yeah.
Oh, yes. It's going to happen. And folks won't forget, it's going to be, where were you in 2020? Mm-hmm. Where were you during the coronavirus? This is going to be the same. We're going to be talking about this, and we're going to talk about the things that we've learned. We're going to come out better than we did before. A virus cannot keep this country down. A virus can't keep this community down. A virus cannot keep good people down. We're going to find a way through this like we do every other tragedy that actually hits us. And again, I do believe that Island View will be the epicenter of showing people how to get through, how to cope, how to deal with, and how to come out better on the other side.
You can find more at onedetroitpbs.org or subscribe to our social media channels and sign up for our One Detroit newsletter.